Welcome to another episode of the Style and Strategy podcast. Today, I was inspired to have a chat around a recent blog post that I did on sustainability. And because we're seeing that focus of consumers more and more of late, as well as many of the retailers really trying to take a bit more of a considered approach to fashion and the impact that fashion can have on the environment and including labour practices overall. When I posted that particular blog, I was inspired by an email I received from Julie, who is a up-and-coming sort of personal stylist who's also studying a certificate of fashion with a focus on sustainability. And what she raised was that through the course that she was doing, it kind of talked around three key elements. And those three key elements were, maybe it's that clothing circularity of buy it well, wear it well, and make it last. And then when a garment has nothing more to give you, then ensure that you dispose of it well. And I thought I really did appreciate Julie reaching out to have a chat around this and my perspective on how, knowing your personal style and how personal stylists could actually have a bigger impact on ensuring that public messaging around this was clear and what more could we do in this space. So today's episode is really all targeted to talk about sustainability. So I hope you enjoy.
I'm Sonia, a personal brand and style coach. My journey began in the corporate world and through lived experiences has led me where I am today. I've walked in those uncomfortable shoes, faced the same challenges and questioned my path to professional success while simultaneously navigating my personal style journey and the challenges that each decade brings. I wholeheartedly believe in the fusion of personal brand and style strategy. My mission here is to provide you with practical, actionable strategies and lived experiences to help you unlock your next level of success through the power of personal brand and style. Let's get started.
So where I wanted to start around sustainability was there is a bit of a mix around this, and sometimes the words ethical and sustainable are used interchangeably, but they're actually two different concepts. So I think it's really important to understand that. So the ethical fashion component really talks on fair labour practices, including safe working conditions, fair wages, respect for workers' rights, right throughout that supply chain piece. And then sustainable fashion really touches on the environmental considerations, reducing resource consumption, minimizing waste, and using eco-friendly materials and production methods around that. So when you are looking at crafting a wardrobe that has a bit more purpose to it, and it's actually a little bit more deliberate, then you might be looking at sustainability as one of those options. Because I have a few clients who really are putting that to the forefront, very much like how the increase in ethical investments has happened over the years. The same is happening in retail space as well. So you will see that people are asking for quality garments that are actually made from sustainable materials or eco-friendly alternatives and ethical craftsmanships overall. So it's been quoted that the Australian Fashion Council research indicates that Australians buy on average 56 garments a year. So that's quite a large figure. But I think what is most concerning around this is apparently 90% of those are thrown out within a year. And that seems like a large amount to actually be tossed out. I've gone to actually verify what was the data around that particular stat, because to have 90% thrown out, you really you wonder Is it because of the type of garments that people are purchasing? And is it because of the rise of fast fashion that this is then causing the turnover in the items that you're actually putting in your wardrobe? And so, again, that really triggered when I read this and it was sort of brought to my attention around it, is because it's so many. So how is this actually happening? And I guess what I really want to cover is the ability of, if you follow a process, if you understand your style and you actually have a strategy around that, and you start to be more conscious around the purchases then you're buying, then hopefully we can start as stylists to make an impact on the landfill that is actually happening at the moment, because that sort of figure is actually staggering. And to top it off, I've got from Earth.org here a quote from stats from August 2023, which basically says 92 million tonnes of textile waste is produced every year. And of the 100 billion garments produced, 92 million tonnes ends up in landfills. So that's the equivalent of a rubbish truck full of clothes on landfill sites every second. And so, again, this is why I'm so passionate about having a strategy when it comes to your wardrobe and being clear around, well, what is your personal style? And what are the pieces that you're going to put in your wardrobe? Can you wear them in multiple different ways? And when you can do all of that, then when you decide that the point at which you're ready to let go of those pieces, then how do you actually look at distributing those? And there are so many options available to us outside of throwing those kind of out. And so examples of that would be things like you could sell on Marketplace if you wanted to go down that sort of path. Obviously, if they're still in good condition, there are so many. So you could go to places like St. Vincent de Paul, Dress for Success, if you've got more suiting and things like that, to be able to pass on those garments. There's even a place where you could pass on old undergarments that are still in good wear to be able to pass on to those who are unable to purchase those items. And then if you're thinking about other ways to be able to sell or consign pieces, especially if they are quality pieces, then, you've got stores like Venla, which is fantastic option. You can actually rent a rack and put a whole lot of pieces there and get a percentage back on that. And there are so many others that will look at consigning, and there's other sort of options to actually resell as well. So I will put a couple of those into the show notes in case that's something you are interested in, and do a follow-up blog actually around this. So I think anything we can do to be able to rewear, reuse, and then really put more considered thought into the purchases that we're making to ensure that you're actually getting more bang for your buck and thinking about how we are being more sustainable in the way that we purchase clothing. And then finally, I just wanted to touch on a few ethical brands and sustainable brands that are out there. And again, I will put a few on the list. There are so many popping up now, but really at the start of that chain, if you are looking at investing in, so not only Australian brands, but ethical brands as well, a couple of our examples are Kitex, which combines luxurious fabrics with sustainable practices to create elegant, eco-friendly garments. There's also a group called Veg Threads, which offers a range of organic cotton basics and activewear, all ethically made in Australia. And then Arnsdorf, which is committed to really transparency and sustainability in producing minimalist clothing using eco-friendly materials and ethical manufacturing processes. So it's not about, following the latest fashion fad, etc., but it's actually about a conscious choice to support sustainability and ethical practices across the fashion industry. So if you can find those pieces that will reflect your values, your brand, your style, it's going to continue to make you feel and look confident every day, but at the same time support, that ethical and sustainable edge as well. And today I've really only just touched on the surface, but if this is an area that you're really passionate about or hearing more on, let me know. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for listening today. And again, if you've really enjoyed the show, drop me a note. Let me know. I would love to hear from you.
Thank you so much for being part of this inspiring episode. If you found value in today's discussion, please don't keep it a secret. Share it with a friend on social media, tag me at Your Style Collective, and leave a review. Your support means the world. Join me again next week for another empowering episode of Style and Strategy, the Leadership Series. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, you're already taking that first step towards your transformation journey. See you next time.